Summer is here, which means it's wedding season and also movie season.
A recent study took a look at married people and said you might want to watch more movies, especially movies about relationships. Joining us now is our relationship guru and movie expert, Carol Bearse, to tell us why. All right, what do we need to load up in the next Netflix queue?
Right.
It's all chick flicks, romance movies?
Anything about relationships will work, according to this study.
Every movie seems to have some relationship.
There has to be a good love story in it, even if it's an action story. That gets me to watch it.
Exactly.
So why is this important to watch movies together?
Well, you know, I love the study that told us about this. So the important thing that this study at the University of Rochester found, this guy named Ronald Rogie, if you want to Google him, found was that couples who watched 5 or more movies per month and then talked about them, if those movies were about relationships, reduced their divorce rate by 50% over the next 3 years.
Why is that, though? Is it just because you're kind of analyzing other people's relationships and then learning what you like about yours?
Right. So what the sort of key here is that the conversations those couples had help those couples look at what they're currently doing. So, you know, most of us, according to this research, know how to behave well in relationships. Like, we have the skills. But watching other people in these movies, which is an enjoyable activity, and then reflecting on our own behavior, so kind of looking at what we're currently doing, really helped couples behave better toward one another.
It's very interesting.
I know, isn't it?
Because watching the movie together, it's not necessarily, you're not talking during the movie.
Well, you might be.
You might be. If you're dating me, you probably have to listen
me
to that.
too.
You do a lot of talking during the movie?
I'm a movie talker.
I am too. I'm a talker, all the time talker. Imagine that.
But the talking is critical afterwards.
Absolutely. So what this study found was that watching these relationship plot movies and then having a conversation afterward about, of course, how the characters were interacting. For instance, some of the questions you might talk about were like, was that couple able to, you know, reduce their anger and use humor? And how are we doing with that? How did that couple, for instance, deal with the in-laws? And how are we doing? So, you know, actually intentionally, explicitly talking about your own relationship as it relates to what you saw in the movie.
I think when you talk like that, I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, I sound like I'm in therapy right now. Like, you're really bringing it out. But I think about maybe the average couple probably not going to bring things up in that eloquent of a way. I mean, is it okay if you're joking about some of the things that went wrong in their relationship, the funny moments?
Absolutely. I mean, what this study is suggesting is that, you know, making sure that we're continuing to look at our own behavior and as a couple talk about it and what these characters in these movies, you know, a pretty non-threatening thing to watch a movie about relationship. Sure. What they do is help point out some of the things we might want to talk about. You know, it could be like, oh, I really didn't like how that person did that. Do I do that? Or it might be an opening to, you know, us talking about it.
You know, obviously the study didn't go into this, but I can't help but imagine that the same thing would work if you were watching a TV show that has a relationship theme.
Absolutely.
It's just the conversation.
It's the conversation about it, you know. And
but movies are a nice entree to get you to have that conversation.
Right. I mean, a 2-hour movie gives you much more behavior about relationships, you know, to be able to talk about. But no, 30 minutes, great. Watch Modern Family. And, you know, the thing was, in this study, it wasn't any particular movie, so it's not like you have to watch these movies in the queue. Anything with a relationship plot. I mean, even go back to some of the classics, like Woody Allen and Mia Farrow's Husbands and Wives, or watch Couples Retreat, or Hope Springs, or anything, but just take the time to talk about it and have fun. I mean, why not make it an anniversary ritual in your marriage? You know, maybe it's a wedding gift. Give someone 3-year subscription to Netflix. And give them a copy of this study?
Yeah. We have a lot of great shows about relationships right here on CBS. So
yes, you do.
That's what I say. Well, it's great. It's really good, Carol. I think it makes sense. It's anything you can do to start those conversations.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you're a couple later in marriage and are having, you know, significant issues, you do need to find a therapist.
Right.
But this is a great, oh my gosh, it's a great thing.
Awesome.
Thanks, Carol.